all the cars get lined up, and then they're brought down the pit lane and ushered out from the pit lane itself. So that's what's coming up for you very shortly. And if you thought all the other championships were close, this one is probably even closer, and it's been widely contested so far this year. We don't really know where to start because it's been an absolutely phenomenal season for the F4 British Championship. The youngsters, the rookies, the returnees, it's been one of those seasons where you just haven't wanted to look away from the screen or the track action wherever you've been watching it. It's been absolutely brilliant. So we'll take you through how this is going to shape up very shortly as the cars now make their way into the pit lane behind the Ford Fiesta safety car. Come down, they'll line up there just for a few seconds, and then they'll be off on their way, ready to go. Again, 20 minutes, not long, so you need to get on with the job in hand and try and get these laps in, but with the temperature ever increasing, we're now up to 18 degrees in terms of track temperature, just under 16 degrees for the air temperature as well, so things are warming up nicely as we head towards midday here on day number 1. All the team personnel down there with the drivers as well, so they'll just pull them back onto the apron, and they've got tyres standing by, they've got spare parts standing by, which hopefully they won't need through the qualifying session, but they're there just in case. And this year as well, they've got the added benefit of a few more tyres to use across the course of the weekend as well, but it's all about how you balance those tyres and when you choose to use them. So there's been a few different things to add to the mix this year. The tyres is one of them, so as we said, the tyres and how you use them across the course of the weekend is quite important. The other thing that has been added this year is a full reversal for race number 2, so not a race result reversal but a qualifying reversal. So this is a fairly important qualifying session because it determines how they'll line up for race number 1 and race number 2, because the times we have for this will set grid positions for race number 1, and of course what we'll then do is we'll take the full qualifying result, we'll put it on its head, reverse it, and that's how they'll line up for race number 2. So it gives us some really exciting racing again for the second action of the weekend. But what it also does is doesn't rule anyone out of the weekend, because if you have a poor qualifying, you still have a chance of kind of putting things right for race number 2. So it's been a great addition, I think, for this year. I think many people will agree that it's been absolutely fantastic to have that reversal. It's quite fair that you don't get as many points for race number 2, but of course you do still get points. But what you do get is you get points for places gained. So if you make up quite a few places, however many places you get through the field, you get points for that as well. So it's encouraging overtaking, and it doesn't kind of rule out those who qualify well on Saturday and then of course don't get anything for the hard work through race 2. So there's lots to talk about with this, but we're very much looking forward to it as the qualifying session is very shortly to get underway, just waiting for the green flag to be waved. We've got the countdown going on. I think we're going to go for a 1:45 start here, so just a few more seconds to wait before we do get underway. So what we will do before the green light and the flag does wave is give you the championship standings coming here this weekend to Donington Park. It's the only support category that runs with every single round of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship, so they get 30 rounds as well. We've got this race weekend and of course Brands Hatch still to come. There are no drop scores in this championship either, so for us as commentators it makes it quite easy, because when you're trying to do the mathematics and the abacus and all that at the final round, it does get quite complicated. But luckily for the F4, all points do count for that championship. So it's going to be coming here this weekend. Matthias Zagazzetta, the Peruvian who sits as the championship leader with Argenti Motorsport, he has 251 points to his name in the championship. Second, Matthew Rees, the rookie, has a sterling season so far. He's taken 2 wins. He's had 8 podium positions in total for the JHR development team. He has 234 points, so just 17 adrift of Matthias Zagazzetta. And if you bear in mind there's 25 points for a race victory in race 1 and race 3, that can very quickly turn itself around. So it's Matthias Zagazzetta and Matthew Rees, your top 2. Third place is Mackenzie Cresswell, another rookie within the field. So rookies have really come to the forefront so far this year. And another driver who raced with the JHR development team. He's had 8 podiums this year. 4 of those have been race wins. So Mackenzie comes here on 215 points. So again, just 36 adrift of Matthias Zagazzetta, and that's 19 back from Matthew Rees. So the 2 teammates are definitely in with a shot as well. Joel Granfors, the Swede for Fortec Motorsport, he's been a 7-time podium finisher this year, just 1 race victory. That race victory came with the second race at Thruxton. So he has been on top 4, has Joel. He has 204 points. He's not a rookie, he's back for another year, but 204 points for Joel. And then behind that we see in what's going to be 5th and 6th place, James Headley for Carlin, and 6th place for Joseph Loke. James Headley has had 7 podium finishes this year. 4 of those have been race wins. Those 4 victories have come in what was the first half of the season, to be fair, although he did change things around a few times towards the second half. But yeah, for James Headley, he switched team midway through the season. He's got all those wins in the first half. Ever since, James has really been on the back foot, so still trying to get to grips with the Carlin machine. But let's see what he can do this weekend. The man 5th in the championship, 189 points, and then 6th place for Joseph Loke with the JHR Developments, and they have 169 points. So with any of those 6, I think you could probably look at to be in with a shot this year. Of course, you can go back mathematically all the way down to, I think, probably Salomon Fuzak, especially this weekend, but this qualifying session will determine who comes out on top, and we'll keep an eye on those times, and if any of those in terms of the top 6 we've just given you are going to be up there towards the top of the order. We spoke about the rookies and how well they've done so far this year. Well, in terms of the Rookie Cup, which we have as a championship, it is Matthew Rees that leads that one. He's got 324 points today. He's there looking good at the minute. He's had 7 rookie wins. He's 25 points ahead of Mackenzie Cresswell, so his teammate with 6 wins in the Rookie Cup. 99 points for him. And behind there, he's had 2 rookie wins, 263 points, and 4th place for Kayaski for Carlin with 1 rookie win, 231 points. So that's what we're going to keep an eye out for as well. And we can't forget the Teams Cup. That's also important in this type of racing. It's Fortec who have 504 points, narrow margin ahead of JHR Developments who have 475 points, and just 29 points difference between those two. That's how the right standards come to the F4 British Championship, and as it stands, we've got 2 cars into the pit lane actually, 21 and 57, so that's Sanapol Ithra-Puvazak and also Aidan Neat. Aidan Neat you may recognise in terms of the name. That is of course son to Andy Neat, and Andy has been on the edge of his seat more than once this year watching Aidan out there. He's done a grand job as Aidan, and luckily for him he's now received his first win in the S4 Championship. No, he hasn't, sorry, I thought he did. No, not quite. He's been very close, I have to say, but not quite. His first win yet for a couple of podiums, which confused me, but yeah, a couple of podiums, not yet that first win. So Andy's still on the edge of the seat, but when that first win comes, he might be able to relax a little bit more. But yeah, Andy down to Aidan. He's into the pit lane as it stands. Quickest time has been set by Matthias Zagazeta, but again, we're looking for much quicker than 1:12.3. Outlap from the lane, and then fairly sluggish lap on with a quick lap. So choosing to come into the pits rather than stay out there, which they have. Not much time to do, but they do have time to do this if they wish. But Joseph Loke and Mackenzie Cresswell both decide now to come into the pit lane with the JHR Development team, so they've decided to just have a bit of a pause and catch up on some things before they go once again. But Matthew Rees has stayed out there, number 35. He has now gone quickest, a 108.959, so that's more from what we're used to seeing.
That's what Marcus Flack is having done as we speak. So you do get time during the session.
Certainly do. So back on their way they go with just over 15 minutes left. Of course, you don't want to be caught out. That's the only thing. If you do get a red flag and you haven't set an initial then you can be in some trouble. But we've got that first quick lap in, as we said, with a 108.959. Let's see who else can follow. Matthew Rees is just improving. That's what's happening. No one else is really going with him. So Matthew Rees goes even quicker on a 108.8. Now we get time through. So Matthias Zagazzetta goes second, not into the 108s though, still in the 109s, 0.261 for Matthias. Dougie Bolger, car number 25, is there in third position, so that's a good quick lap from Dougie. Georgi Dimitrov has gone fourth in car number 23, he's into the 109s as well, and so is Kayaski. So they're the five that have set the representative times so far. Matthew Rees is going even quicker actually through sector 1, done 20.3, which is pretty quick. Sector 2 looking for about 36, if you can get a 35 that'd be phenomenal, but 36 is what you'd be aiming for, almost 36 through sector 2. Not too far away from completing that now, so we'll wait for the time to pop up on the screen. 2, but just not done there, so it's not any better through sector 2. Let's see what he can close the lap on as he comes through across the line now. Number 35 goes through, Holloway 8.6, again even quicker there, a couple of tenths off his best time. So Zach is still trying to get out of the way, which is good, so lets the quicker runners go across the line as Dougie Bolger's time has now been disallowed, so exceeding track limits, which you can probably do and get away with in terms of not having damage in a saloon car, but when you do it in a single-seater it can be quite robust, so I don't think you'd want to be exceeding track limits around Donington Park too much this weekend. You want to slow down, so damage to the outside of the car as well. But Dougie Bolger has received time disallowed on him, so that has done him no favours whatsoever. Place. So that's next through across the line goes Zach Taylor. That's a good lap. Two rows for Zach, 109.130, but not into the 108s as of yet. That's quick car, 108.6 down to 108.1, so that is phenomenal. Matthew Rees now finds himself almost 3/4 of a second ahead on Matthias Zagazzetta. So Matthew Rees, of course, was the championship leader prior to Silverstone. That all then changed around after Silverstone, with Matthias Zagazzetta having some better results, although Silverstone was a very frantic weekend, I think it's fair to say, because race 3 and that race 4 was very chaotic indeed. Again, probably one word you could use. Very chaotic, which meant Matthias Zagazzetta didn't finish race number 3, Matthew Rees didn't finish race 2 or race 3, Joel Granfors didn't finish race 2 or race 3, Mackenzie Cresswell scored very few points in race 2 and race 3, so it's kind of for anyone else to come through and take the points, which they certainly did do, but that kind of happened at the top corner of the championship, and those in pretty much great races, but yeah, quite right or believe, but that's what happened, and it gives us an even closer fight between the top 4 champions here this weekend. And another disallowed, this one for number 15, so Kayaski has lost his time. That now drops him down to 6th position in the run-in, so he drops now behind Eduardo Cosseteg on the 6th machine. Dougie Bolger has improved once again after losing his time, so Dougie goes from 3rd to 5th back up to 4th on a 108.934 now. Matthew Rees, has he improved any further? No, he's still on a 108.9. A lot slower there, but potentially he's done enough, he feels. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Because the gap is now certainly coming down. It was 7/10 between him and Eduardo Cosseteg. It's now down to, in fact, that was Zagazzetta, wasn't it? But now we've got 2 and Zagazzetta, because Granfors has gone to 2nd in car number 5, and Eduardo Cosseteg has gone to 3rd in car number 36. So it's starting to shuffle its way around. So John Granfors has got to dive through this. Kayaski and also Matthias Zagazzetta. So they're all into the pit lane with just 10 minutes to go. So we're now exactly halfway through this session. A few more times disallowed as well. So turn 4 is down there at the old hairpin, which you can again get away with running wide, but they won't allow it. That's that's the thing, you can do it, but it won't do any favours, I'm afraid. So Matthias has lost his time now. Also, Eduardo Costa has lost his time, and also number 15, Cameron McLeod, has lost his time. So that is a bit disappointing. Cameron McLeod was actually a first-time visitor to the F4 Championship last time out at Silverstone, so he got his first 3 races under his belt. So Cameron McLeod is out there at the minute, 12th place after that time disallowed. That's where he sits on the grid for race number 1. And as we said, you can't forget what happens for race number 2. So the top runners, but in fact we should be looking at the bottom as well, because that will set the grid for race number 2. So at the minute James Headley gets down. He's going for the race 2 because he just knows he can't get quick enough to kind of find himself anywhere for race number 1. So I think he's another one who might have just had a time disallowed, although he has now re-improved. So he's back up with 109.427. That now puts him in 14th place, so he's gradually making his way back towards the top of the order, but still a fair way to go for James Headley. To Sanapol Inthrapuva, that has just improved. That's 5 places gained for him, so back at the grid to 11. So that's there's a few green sectors coming through. Aidan Neat, one of those, so he's just improved up now into 3rd position, and he's on another quick lap here because he's gone personal best through sector 1. He's yet to go through sector 2. And who improved that time? I think that was Joseph Loeb, wasn't it? Yeah, he goes to 3rd place. So number 84, Joseph Loeb now onto the 2nd row of the grid. Still waiting for second to do any second. Number 57 just working his way down the whole double straight. He goes through sector 2. He's got another person on green on our timing screen. And Aidan Neat works his way through the final corner across the line. He'll get any higher than 4th. Now becomes 5th. Can he go any higher? We wait for the screen to update. He goes back to 4th place with a 108.531, so he has jumped back up onto the 2nd row of the grid. Who else is going that time round? Cameron McLeod went to 15th. Doesn't see any change, I don't think, that time through in the top 10, so nothing changes massively. A few more times disallowed. Number 50, which is Cameron McLeod. For exceeding factor down at the hairpin, and also number 84, which is Joseph Loeb. Both of those times have disappeared, and also number 5 has had a time disallowed, which is John Gramfor's, and that is for exceeding factor in Cobb's corner. So that's not good for the number 5 car of John Gramfor, because he's got a little triangle on the timing screen, which normally indicates to us that they're that's not. And again, I can't really tell you where he's gone missing, but he's somewhere around the circuit, so that's not good news for him, because he will now drop down the order with people going quicker and quicker. So 3rd it was, he's now down to 4th already, got 6.5 minutes to go. Damage to the car, but an update on that one. Matthew Rees is now at the top, going in quicker on a 108.153. That is a good lap from him. In fact, I think someone is allowed there, because that's what has put him back at the top of the time. So, yeah, there's more notifications coming up. We can continue again. Number 11, Marcus Flack, has had a time disallowed. Number 16, time disallowed. That's the old hairpin. That is the car of Mackenzie Cresswell. That's the outside of row 2 as it stands. Aidan Neat, by the way, while we've been talking, has also improved up into 2nd with a 108.255. It's very, very close indeed. In fact, between the top 4, there's only a 10th of a second covering the first 2 rows. So brilliant stuff there for Rees, Neat, Loke and Cresswell. And we've now got 5 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. So very close between the top 4. Behind him, continues to drop, so he's now down to 5th position and has gone back through. So whatever happened in terms of him going missing, he has got himself going once again there, which is good. So down and out just yet. Inside, keep an eye on this lap for Aidan Neate and also Mackenzie Cresswell. So car 57 and 16, both of them have done the best of anyone through sector 1. And Joseph Lowe goes to the top of the time with a 108.077. So Joseph Lowe has sprung that one out of the bag. He did the personal best through sector 1 and sector 2, but nothing through sector 3. Joseph Lowe has just got even closer to the 107, not quite, but he's closer, 108.077. I'll keep an eye on the bottom of the screen, see that his number is over here. Time disallowed, hopefully it doesn't. Number 21 does, and number 84 does. And Joseph Lowe does lose that time for exceeding track limits. So does number 21, which is Sandoval, who is actually just inside the top 10 down in 10th place. But who else is improved? Well, Aidan Neate going through sector 1. That didn't really come to anything through sector 2 or sector 3, so he stayed in third position. Matthew Rees has done a personal best through sector 1, but he could potentially in second place on this occasion. He does, he goes back to the top of the times with a 108.027, so Mackenzie Cresswell did have it. Matthew Rees now back at the top of the time by 500ths of a second, so nothing to choose again between the top two. The gap between the top 4 has just increased now to Charlotte and Loke 4th, but Granfors is now 5th. Sandoval's improved on that lap, number 21, so improved that 6th place outside of row number 3. Dougie Bolger's up 6 places to 7th, so that's a good lap for him. Hopefully this time he won't get that one disallowed. Eduardo Cosseteng is in 8th place. James Headley's improved now. That's good to see James back inside the top 10. So he's 9th. Just ahead of number 11, which is Marcus Flack. So that's how your top 10 look. Cam McLeod, I think, is the only one, as it stands, in the pit lane. So he's not going to go to the end of the session, possibly, as he gets pushed towards the pit garages. Matthew Rees has just gone through to do a 107.873, so Matthew Rees has bettered his 108 to do a 107. Again, hopefully that will stand, but that is considerably quicker than again the rest of the field. So I'm not too sure, but that is incredibly quick from the championship leader, or sorry, was the championship leader, now second in the championship Matthew Rees, so he goes through. There's one over rival, Matthias Zagazzetta, who's still finding himself down in second position. So Matthias really struggling at the minute with just over 2 minutes to go. We've got Cresswell still second. Aidan Neate is in third place. 4th place for number 84 is Joseph Lowe. 5th place at number 25 is Dougie Bolger. Joel Granfors finds himself in 6th place, ahead of the just improving there Matthias Zagazzetta and the championship leader. Sandoval Inthra is next up in 8th place. Eduardo Cosseteng is 9th. James Headley is in 5th place. Those 4 times have been disallowed. Matthew Rees, so he did a 107.8, but that will now be put back into the 108s, I imagine, after that time there, which is Cam McLeod. Cam still remains in the pit lane, so 15th place with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, so not really time to get back around and start another lap for him. So Rees now still remains at 107.8, but I think that will be put, as I said, to 108.0, and whether that changes position, we'll have to wait and see. But for now, he does remain on top with his pit lane. So second place now, Mackenzie Cresswell has gone through. Again, if the drivers have felt but done enough, there's no more time to come from the cars as it stands. Aidan Neate is into the pit lane as well, so he'll be at best third on the grid. James Headley goes through quite slowly there, so I think he's done well. And there's 3 more cars with time disallowed. Number 15, which is that of Kayaski, so he is going to drop down. Number 60 is and number 67, James Headley is time as well, so more exceeding track limits on that previous lap with 20 seconds to go. So those who corner will get one more lap in least. Now get one more lap if they wish to do so. Marcus Flack and Eduardo Cosseteng and also number 84 Joseph Lowe will get one more lap. So they go through. Checker Flag is ready. Bolger will go through for one more lap. And Matthias Zagazzetta will just about squeeze through as well there, number 8. currently sits in 8th position. That's something he doesn't improve. There's only a couple of tenths off his best time, a 108.6. So he has got room to improve. Whether he'll do it, I'm not too sure. He's behind him in the championship, but ahead of him on the track. He really does need something special on this last lap of the qualifying session, because Rees is still out there. He's trying to push, but he hasn't really mustered up anything through sector 1, so I don't think Rees is going to improve on this lap. So it's now all down to Matthias Sagazeta to see if he can do anything special through sector 1. He's done a 20.4, which compared to Rees' 20.2 is 2 tenths off the pace at the overall lap time, 6 tenths off. So if he can get 2 tenths to the line, he could go through there. So let's see if we've got anything left in the tank. And he lets us through the second sector now, 35.9. Let's see if he can do anything to the line, or is he going to charge for the pit lane? Let's have a look. He's going to be about 6 tenths down, so he's not going to improve on this lap. It's Matthias Sagazeta who goes through, takes the checker flag, and ends up in 8th place. And with everyone now taking the checker flag or into the pit lane, let's run you through how the first race order will shape up. It's going to be Matthew Rees on pole position, and in fact that 107.873 does stand, so it wasn't that one that was taken away. So 107.873 for Matthew Rees, so the 2 tenths quicker than number 16 Mackenzie Cresswell. So brilliant job there from both of them to lock out the front row for JKR Developments there. Mackenzie's time was a 108.083. Aidan Neate gets himself onto the head of the second row, number 57, with a 108.156. 4th place then for number 84 is Joseph Loke with a 108.257. Then back on row number 3 is number 5, which is Joel Granfors. His time is a 108.264, just ahead of number 36, which is Eduardo Cosseteng on a 108.341. And then we see on the 7th position, Dougie Bolger, car number 25, with a 108.452. Multiple laps disallowed for him. To be fair, most of the field have 1 or more laps disallowed through that qualifying session. So Dougie's 7th, 8th place then for number 8, the championship leader. So quite a way down there for Matthias Sagazeta. Midfield for him on a 108.479. And then we saw in 9th place, number 21, Sanapol Inthrapivasak, 108.568. 10th place for number 67 is James Headley, 108.699. 11th place then for number 15 is Kai Askey. His time was a 108.840. 3,000th back from that was Marcus Flack in car number 11 with a 108.843. Then in 13th place, number 99 is Zach Taylor, a 108.859.